All right, we are back. I think this is my eighth episode of The Hobby with Cage, and I have affectionately titled this one The Queen of Collectibles, Alex Giaimo. Welcome to the show.
What's up, my man? I love you. Thank you for having me. It's an
So,
honor. It's an honor to be one of your first guests, man. And also, congratulations. You've deserved this. This is your own thing, and I can't wait to see what you do with it.
congratulations to me. Forget about it. You setting the world on fire here. I mean, I can't believe I was able to, lock you down here. You are a Netflix star. Let that sink in for a second. I'll say
Okay,
it again for you.
okay,
A
okay.
Netflix star.
It's been really nice. I have my mom keeps telling me, all right, your head is getting a little big. Pump the brakes, and I am. And I'm proud of our show. I'm proud of the product we created, Cage. If anyone knows my background, especially you do as my dear friend, I've busted my effing ass for this moment. 11 years of grind and gruel and
And
bullshit
broken fingers.
and broken fingers and broken egos and rejection and everything you can imagine. Everything before the Me Too movement. Me Too movement, all the sexual harassment I've dealt with. I kept with it, and I stayed with it, and it was all worth it. This has been the most euphoric 6 days of my life, dude. So I'm happy.
I mean, listen, I watched the show. I think it was great. I really do. I've talked about it on this show a couple times. It's a great time to be starting a podcast here because it was, it's great content out there. I love the interaction between Ken and his daughter. I've said that a couple times. I think it's hilarious.
Oh God! I mean, it's Pippen and Michael Jordan, man.
No, that's what they said.
And let me tell you, Laura Golden is. They edited her a little bit like she's a spoiled brat. She is not like that at all in real life. Ken and I got to give it to him. I wish my dad did more of this to me. Ken does not spoil her. He makes her work for her money, for her rent, for everything. And she does. And she has her father's work ethic. She is not like that. But you know what she is like? She's hilarious. That girl, we went out for drinks a couple weeks ago. She made me laugh out loud for 2 straight hours. She's hilarious. And we both went to Syracuse, so we've always had that connection.
Oh, see that? So I remember, I mean, she's a worker. She was working at Bleecker for a while.
Yeah.
I remember I met her there.
She takes after her father. Like she works her ass off.
I wonder if season 2 she'll accept the offer and come back and actually be kind of running the consignments or something like that, or she's gonna take that advertising job.
So I posted an MLB Network video today of me, talking about our sports cards. And the first thing she commented, and she said, I need, and I was thinking she was talking about, I need, the rookie debut patch from Fanatics. She was talking about the pants I was wearing, the fashion aspect.
All right. So I wanted to talk about the Golden Show first, but you pivoted right to MLB. We'll come back to the Golden Show because look, there's a lot of stuff to talk about there. But MLB, you're doing a special on MLB called MLB Carded.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it and also where folks will be able to see that and when.
And I appreciate you for bringing this up. It's pretty cool. Dude, since I'm 14 years old, I've wanted to be on Major League Baseball Network, especially on the Jackie Robinson Studio 42 field that I just filmed my last segment on. It's pretty iconic. Some of the best female and male talent in the world have done segments there. So when I did that segment that I posted today, I just got the chills watching it back. I was like, damn, girl, you did it. Let's go. But MLB Carded is hosted by Greg Amsinger, who is awesome, talented. He's been the face of MLB along with Harold Reynolds for literally my first job out of college. You guys, Cage, I worked for MLB Network as a baseball logger. I was a little, schmuck, working until 4:00 in the morning. And I recently started working for them as talent. I got my own parking space and everything. And I've been walking through the building, and everyone's like, "Dude, you did it! Welcome back! Holy crap!" I'm like,
for anybody who doesn't know, the parking space is worth more than whatever salary it is because Alex here is notorious for parking tickets.
$1,000 a month easily.
So it's worth its weight in gold to have our own parking spot.
Easily. But MLB Carded is a show that started a year and a half ago, but it was not on the network. It was not nationwide. This year it is. They brought me, my boss Michael Furno brought me in because he thought that we would get more eyeballs with me because one of my hobby ties and he wanted me to bring in more entertainment, more personality, more spunk, and educational value. And Cage, you talked about this on your podcast that I listened to earlier, the idea of provenance and background information. You have to tell the story behind these cards, behind these items. And I don't want to say dumb it down, but you have to put the language into layman's terms for the average Joe, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, 2 years ago, I was that average
Correct.
Josephine. That was
Yeah.
me. And you know that.
So just to kind of lay it out there a little bit, and guys, if you haven't seen the clip, right, the clip is on Alex's page. It's at Alex Giaimo. Check it out on Instagram. I think it's on MLB Network. It's this weekend, right? It comes out, so it's
Yes, this Sunday. Yes, this Sunday.
May
11:30 a.m.
7th at 11:30 on the MLB Network. You'll see this, and here's where I'll give you your flowers, right? So we could say Ken did a lot of good stuff for the hobby by putting this Netflix show out there with Omaha, and I mean Peyton Manning and the names, and no matter what anybody thinks about anyone who was in the show, right? It was a positive thing for the hobby. There are eyeballs on it. Your dentist is asking you about it. I have lawyer friends who called me up and were like, hey, tell me about this Ken Golden guy. What about this auction? And are my Beanie Babies worth anything? We'll get to that in a second, I promise. It's a positive thing. And here you are part of that. But we're going to double down here in the same week or the same 2-week period where this Netflix show airs. The following weekend, so one weekend you have, boom, the release of a Netflix show, The Golden Touch, that you narrate, and I'm going to get to that also in a second. The following weekend on MLB Network, you are also grabbing the eyes of the average Joe and teaching them about cards, which, I mean, it works. And your segment, just in case people haven't seen it yet, it delves into a bunch of things, but one of them is the Fanatics MLB debut patch that they talked about, a couple weeks ago. I think they released at the end of March. And you talk about how, this is going to be put in a card. And then you went even further and kind of talked about what makes a rookie card, what's not a rookie. Like there's a whole big segment about it. And it really is helpful because there is a learning curve. And there are a lot of companies who are trying to get into this. Fanatics is one. There are a lot of companies that come into this. And one of the things that I've had conversation with Fanatics also, and the thing that every company that wants to be here longer than 6 months or a year, people that want to be in this for a long haul, what they hit on is education. How do you educate the consumer? How do you educate someone who is not already in the hobby? Make them feel comfortable learning it. Don't make it an impossible barrier to entry. It sounds like your show is a great kind of like hobby 101. Like, here's what a rookie card is. Here's the debut patch. Is that accurate?
100% accurate. Great review. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So
honestly, Cage, 2 years ago, I knew. Listen, I've been a collector my whole life. I know baseball. I know baseball better than any man. Okay. But the hobby is different lingo. It's different language, different terminology. True. And I gotta give credit to my friend Jason Capel. He is the producer at Card Talk, Gary V's company. I learned from him just by watching podcasts. And by the way, I got to give credit to you. You were podcast number 2. You and Andrew, I listened to on the regular. You can only learn by listening. And now I feel like I'm the perfect person to educate the world about the hobby, because I'm also new and I don't consider myself an expert. I never did. But that's the beauty of it. I know how to explain it to people that know nothing
in a way that they'll
it.
get. Right? In a way that they'll get without speaking about, I mean, it's funny because it is one of the things I gave, kind of, guys, again, MLB Network, Sunday, 11:30 Eastern time. Check it out. MLB Carded with Alex on it. I'll try to hit it again before we leave. But back into the Golden Show, one of the things I talked about is they did a very good job of kind of pumping the brakes and not using language that hobbyists take for granted. I think that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Because a Netflix show or a show on MLB Network, there's baseball fans, there's collectible fans, but they're not people who live this, who breathe it, eat, drink, sleep the hobby, and the words, the vernacular, you name it, it's second nature. So
dude, I came into this hobby for one, and I say that I touch on this in the Netflix show, which, by the way, I have to give out a shout out to Ken Golden. Thank you, dude. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just calling my boss a dude, but he is a dude to me. He is the man. Me and Ken from day one connected.
Bosses don't like being called dude. Lisa Vanderpump didn't like it in the most recent episode of Vanderpump Rules with Sandoval. Don't call me dude. I am not dude. I am not dude.
I know my father's going to kill me for that. But Ken, I have never met anyone anyone that has worked harder than Ken Golden. And I saw a little bit of myself in him, and I think he saw the same thing in me. We are grinders. You might hate us. There's a lot of people that hate us, but there's also a lot of people that love us and respect us. And I got to give props to where props are due. None of this happens without Ken Golden and his brand. And I only work for the best of the best, and I respect him. And I now at my age and career at 33, almost 34 years old, I will only work for men that respect me, because I can tell you right now, Cage, over the last 11 years, a lot of them have not. So I just want to say thank you to Ken. He's the man. And you hate
I got
him
to
or
correct
love
one
him.
thing. You mistakenly said 33, 34 when you meant to say 25, 26. I understand. I get it.
It's a filter.
Just one of those things. You had the math is off a little bit here.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Yeah,
listen,
but I mean, okay, so I sort of I lost track. There's my ADD, but
no, you didn't. You were giving Ken compliments.
yeah, I mean, listen, dude, Ken one day DM'd me. Literally, he slid right in there in a respectful way.
Wait a second.
And he said, "I
We
love
don't
your
talk about your DMs. You don't look at your DMs. They're scary. We all learned this in the show.
No, I'm not gonna lie. My DMs since the Netflix show came out have been so respectful. Probably because most of them are international and they're not like psychopath American men, but they have been so nice and so kind. Everyone's complimenting me, and if you say I'm beautiful, fine, and I loved it.
All right, so Ken slides into DMs. Let me take a shot at this. Let me take a shot.
Yeah.
The first DM is, "Hey, I know Drake." No,
because dude, this was well before Drake ever existed.
So I'm trying to think what it would be.
This was 2020. Like Ken DM'd me and he was like, "I love your content. My team does. Are you interested in auditioning for our show?" And at the time, Cage, we didn't know it was a Netflix show. It was nothing. It was just a pilot. Yep. He created a pilot with Wheelhouse Productions. And I said, of course, I said, F yeah, dude. Actually, no, I said, thank you, Mr. Golden. It's a pleasure to meet you. And he got so mad at me. Don't call me Mr. Golden. And I auditioned, and Wheelhouse and Netflix, I don't know why, but they fell in love with me, and it took off from there. So
it's very odd because he requires me to call him Mr. Golden if he lets me call him at all.
I'm sure he does.
Very weird.
He doesn't say the Happy Godfather or the King.
That's the first I heard of that on the show. But I have been to the Golden location, and I did use his bathroom without him knowing. Boom, mic drop.
Wait,
now you know, Ken.
Shout out Laura Golden. You have to have some set of balls to do what she did. That's why she's a G, man.
It makes for good television. So here's the fun part, right? Yeah. So you're out there, you do the show. And I'm going to ask you about this, right? Because I do some voiceovers myself. For little content here and there.
You have a voice of gold. It's great.
I appreciate that. But it is clear to anyone who listens to more than 3 seconds that I was born in Brooklyn. I cannot hide this, right? So I'm not going to get the role of Hugh Grant in any voiceovers. It's just not going to happen. I may have the teeth for it, but not the voice, right? I can't really. But in any event, you are the Hoboken girl. This is what we're now calling you, right? This is now, he could be the godfather of the hobby. You are the Hoboken girl. And, it comes out. But what's funny is you are the narrator of the show. And I think you did a damn good job. How has that gone? Have any doors, windows, anything open to you since?
Let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. It's not funny to me. It is everything to me. I took that job so seriously. A lot of people in the hobby don't know. A lot of people think I'm just a face. I just appeared because someone DM'd me something. No, you guys, I graduated from the best journalism school in the world, Syracuse University, Newhouse School in 2012. And I have busted my ass to get to this point. I've always, first and foremost, wanted to be a journalist. But unfortunately, Instagram and TikTok and all that changed the narrative of the game. Broadcast television doesn't really exist anymore. We're on Google TV, we're on YouTube, we're on Netflix, right? Yep. So I also decided to finally change my narrative. But my entire life, Cage, my entire career, I was told by major networks, MLB Network included, that my voice, I love you, MLB,
current employer, she loves you. She's not saying anything bad.
I'm too Jersey. I'm too raspy. I'm too Northeastern sounding. I don't sound like that girl next door. Because when you think about journalists, and women who are talented and work on TV, you think more like, plain Jane, blah, 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 blah,
It's
blah.
funny
But
because where I grew up in Staten Island, the girl I grew up next door sounded exactly like you. So
no, I am not Staten Island. I love, God bless, but no.
what's the difference? Okay, go ahead. Sorry. All right, so you're Jersey girl, but and you've been turned
Well,
away because
I have
you don't
taken
check a
them.
box.
Oh, I've been rejected left and right because I don't check the box. I am different. I am different. I do not sound like the plain Jane next door. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but even if
Well,
Netflix
don't say it.
rejected me, Netflix rejected me at first. They didn't. I was always going to be the host of the show and had a major presence on the show, but they were going to hire an outside source to narrate.
You ever think maybe they were just motivating you? You ever think maybe they did that just to kind
I
of get the
think
best out of
I
you? These
honestly,
Netflix guys, they do this from time to time.
I
They know
don't
what they're
know.
doing. Maybe they
Maybe
got
you're
this best
right.
narration out of you. I
Maybe
don't
you're
think they ever
right.
were going to fire you. I think they knew what they had.
You might be right, and I like your thought there. But yeah, I voiced over the entire season, and everyone loved it. Wheelhouse Productions, Brett Montgomery, I love them so much. They were always Team Alex Giaimo. This is our vision, because Golden does take place in New Jersey.
That's
Okay,
right.
although no offense to Ken Golden and my team down there, that's Philly to me. It's not really Jersey. I'm 10 minutes away from Manhattan right now, so
Yeah.
whatever. But I voiced over the whole season, and somebody didn't like it because they didn't think I would appeal globally because, I sound a little soprano-y sometimes. So then my team at Wheelhouse was like, all right, let's do it over again. Let's do it over again, more in your journalism, Alex Steimo, Syracuse voice. And I did it, and I think I nailed it, and I'm so proud of it. And they were like, you got the job, girl. And Cage, that is the most proud moment of my life. Forget about what I look like, what I sound like, in terms of appearing on the screen. Narrating the story of the hobby and educating the globe about what the hobby is from a female's perspective, from a female's voice. The sports industry in general is male dominated. The hobby is male dominated times 1,000.
Of course.
And I'm the voice that has the honor to tell that story and represent Ken Golden's brand and the hobby. It's an honor and a privilege. And I cried my ass off, dude, when I got the job. I
Well, a
cried,
couple
cried,
things,
cried,
right?
cried.
So just a couple things from here, right? So one, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Two, you were able to do it with credibility because you spent 2 years in the hobby learning and you know what you're talking about. And I can say this from experience because your first entry in this, you were reading a script. And I don't
Oh,
know if you
yes.
remember, you came in
No,
and
I read what I was told to
you
read.
read what you were told to read. Remember, and God, people might not remember this, but Alex came in and did the announcement for Collectible when they were selling a very small piece or a very small piece of the Babe Ruth Baltimore news card. And she came in and read a script about how it's a record sales price for this item. And I remember messaging her and I made a little content about it. This is not a sale. It's not a record sale price.
You didn't message me. You messaged your 50,000 fans and followers.
I messaged you after just so we could explain. This is not a sale. This is this.
You did.
And you know what? And you didn't run away. You didn't, run away screaming, which you could have, right? I mean, I'm not the nicest person in the world. I know
Dude,
that.
you motivated me, man.
And I that's why kudos to you, because look what you've done now. I mean, you've gone and you've stayed here. So besides Golden, besides this fun stuff, and you have this voiceover, I have to ask, has that kind of opened any doors? I mean, I know there's going to be season 2, 3, 4, and 5. You have MLB
we
Network.
We hope. Netflix is really, really hard. We had a lot of scripted competition with billions of dollars of budgets. We had no budget. I'm going to toot our own horn. We had no budget. We had incredible talent, and I'm very proud of my cast. I'm like the only one with TV experience that was on that show, so I'm proud of my cast. So if we get a season 2, we cracked the top 10, dude. That is such an accomplishment. So even if we don't get renewed, I am so freaking proud of the product that we put out. Sorry, I hope that the hobby is happy with it, because our goal was to put more eyeballs on this wonderful thing that we call the hobby that we all love.
Number 7 in Australia and New Zealand. And I know it's hard to do.
Go.
I'm number 208 in sports podcast this week in Korea.
Let's
So,
go.
I mean, think about that. I mean, and you're number 7 in Australia and number 9 in the United States. So,
yes.
I mean, it's not the easiest. But
Let's
besides
go.
Another season of Netflix,
yes,
you enjoyed narrating. Do you see yourself potentially doing that for additional shows?
So I've already had like multiple, like a couple offers to narrate, and it just makes my heart sing. Like, I have a big time meeting with a big time agency in Manhattan on
Good.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then I also have another meeting with a management company, that represents influencers, and
Wow.
I also cringe, by the way, when people in the hobby or anyone else calls me an influencer. I'm not an influencer, you guys. Like, I don't like to influence anything. I just want to educate, and I do my job. That's it. So yes, this show has already opened a ton of doors, and I have to say this.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriends from Kappa Kappa Gamma Syracuse University, my girlfriends from elementary school, they are calling me and texting me, and women that are my mother's friends are in their 60s. Holy shit. I just went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Breaking. What is this? This Jackie Robinson jersey, this Britney Spears shirt. People are genuinely interested. Holy shit. My grandfather has a Hess truck connection.
Yep.
Holy shit. What are your beanie babies? Honestly,
Beanie Baby.
I don't think anyone talked about more scene in the entire six episodes
We have to talk about it.
than my beanie baby scene. Everyone is interested. Why? It's nostalgia. We all thought we were going to get rich in the 90s.
That's
all
right.
of us.
And Scorch. You bust Scorch the Dragon out of all the
Thank
Beanie
you
Babies.
for giving Scorch some props, dude.
You got Scorch the Dragon Beanie Baby, which I'm sure during Game of Thrones did have a heyday. Some of the beanies that were on the other side of that table, listen, take it from somebody who put themselves through law school, flipping Beanie Babies on eBay in 1998. That's what I was doing. Some of those beanies they had were rare, like first edition, like old face bears. Like, it didn't surprise me that some of those had some value.
Listen,
Not yours. Yours were kind of crap.
I gotta give the Robbies credit. They were an incredible asset to the show and very nice men. I love them. My Beanie Baby collection blew theirs away, but that was the story.
By the way, those guys, the father-son combo, I watched with my wife, and she was like, those guys are amazing. I would let them in my house. I would let them look through my attic.
Incredible. Robbie Jr., I don't know Senior as well, because, it's Senior. He's an old man, and I'll say it to his face. But Junior is a sweetheart, man.
They were nice guys. I would watch a show with those guys. As long as they're coming back for season 2, they got you, Laura Golden.
The Robbie.
I'm fine.
Exactly.
Joe Montana was there in the opening credits, but I didn't see him in the show. Maybe he could be season 2.
I think he'll make an appearance. But anyway, back to the Beanie Baby collection, because everyone keeps asking me, what was your collection valued at? I actually met with Dr. Lori because during COVID, I actually lost my goddamn mind. Yes, I met with her during COVID when I lived with my grandmother, and I was broke as a joke. And I had no money, and I went into her basement, and I saw my old Beanie Babies, and I sold her old Pez dispensers. I sold her old Barbies. I made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and I discovered this collection, and I went absolutely wild. And if you're listening,
right, hold one up. You got Princess.
If you're listening, you can't see, but I'm currently holding up all of my Princess Di Beanie Babies.
Okay, now look at the tush tag. Do you know what the tush tag is? Look at the tush tag.
Oh, I know all the tush tags.
They are PE or PVC.
These are PVC pellets, which is more valuable.
Yes, more valuable.
So these are all things that the Robbies did not know that I did. But it's Netflix. You're getting at it. Okay, the story was the Robbies had the collection. I actually had the collection. Their collection was valued at $8,000, dude. I'm thinking my collection is valued at 15 to 20. But
wow.
But just like you said about The Rock and who's the other wrestler, the card that just sold
Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant is what? Sold for $160K?
The Rock sold for $126,000.
It's whoever is willing to pay for it. So everyone says, okay, Alex, your Princess Di, if in good condition, is worth $500. Sure. But listen, dude, you got to find somebody willing to go out there and pay for it.
That's right.
And that's the hardest part. And I said that to the Robbies on the show. You might be valued at $75,000 to $8,000, dollars, but you got to do the work, and it's a lot of work, and I'm not willing to do the work. So
the thing that they bring up with the Beanie Babies is it taps on something, right? Like, collectors, the people who watch this show, the people who are in the hobby, we kind of all want to hoard things. We all want to collect things. And what I loved about the show was it wasn't just hobby, and I want to talk to you about this too. So twofold. Number one, kind of like what you collect, what you like, what you can buy, and talk about like memorabilia, because I know that's kind of something you're a fan of. But more importantly, what I'd love to see in a season 2 is comics. Like, were there comic stuff recorded and it stayed on the cutting room floor? Like, what happened, if you're allowed?
It's honestly so ironic, and thank you for asking that you brought up comics, because comics was actually one of our huge, and I know it was one of Ken's huge focus, because he does really well in the comic book game at Golden. And he's also, let's be real, I love you, Ken. He's a huge nerd, and he loves comic books and the original, action with the original appearance of Spider-Man and Superman and all that jazz. So we had, for instance, I interviewed Nerdy Girl, and by the way, thank you, honey, for coming down. She was great. Scenes get cut. Like Netflix, it's a big ass company, and we shoot about, we shoot 100% of scenes, and I would say 70% of those scenes get cut. And unfortunately, comic books were one of those. But I have talked to Ken about this, and he says if we do get a season 2, hopefully, comic books will definitely be in it. I mean, even my brother has like Silver Surfer, this and that. People love comic books. It's the original story of these guys.
Another reason to need a season 2. So 5 more minutes. I want to keep it to a half hour and be respectful of your time. 2 topics. Number 1 is going to be kind of what are you collecting? And number 2 is recognizing you, kind of like hobby, you're the Hoboken girl, right? Have you gotten stopped on the street since? Let's start with that one, and then we'll go into what you're collecting and how you're collecting stuff.
I mean, listen, I live in Hoboken. Those of you that don't know, it is right across the river from Manhattan. I needed to live in Hoboken because, one, I needed my car accessible, which, by the way, I get $1,000 worth of tickets in a month anyway, but whatever. But it's a 15-minute car ride over to Manhattan, West Village, which is where Fanatics is. Nice. Chelsea is right there. Times Square is right there. There's a ferry. There's everything. It's the best location. I love New Jersey. Let's go. And Hoboken Girl is like this huge publishing, I guess, site here on Instagram in all of North Jersey. I think they have 250,000 followers. And I'm fortunate and blessed enough that they did a whole profile on me. And they said, we're making Alex Giaimo making Hoboken proud. And they did a whole thing on me. And I cried my ass off when that came out. It was so sweet. And I was walking home last night after work from my car because I had to park a mile away because Hoboken sucks at parking. And I'm not going to lie, I got recognized by a group of little dudes, like early 20s. There's a university here called Stevens University. It's very high. It's one of the best prestigious tech schools. And they said, dude, are you Alex? I was like, yes, what's up? And then here's what makes me most proud, Paige. I got recognized by a woman in like her 40s and 50s. And that's what makes my heart sing, because that was my goal, to bring in other people, another demographic into the hobby that hadn't been there before.
I can see it now. She's like, "Are you the girl with the scorched beanie on TV?" Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Besides the Beanie Babies,
Can
right?
I also say one thing though? I'm going to interrupt you.
No.
All the big men in the hobby, everyone that I've seen and spoken to since, like I went to Bleecker the other night and they were all there. It was the trade night at Bleecker.
Yep.
Corey was there,
Show your slabs.
Show your slab.
Strong. Yep.
Exactly. And they both said, Alex, you talked to me about my Beanie Baby collection. The men are interested, dude.
That's it. You found your thing.
I'm doing a post on it this week, I promise.
You found your Beanie Baby thing. All right. So I remember when you came in, right? And obviously to stay in the hobby and talk about the hobby and eventually get all the jobs in the hobby that you're going to get from this, you have to have something in the hobby that you enjoy. And I've seen you break boxes. I mean, you're a baseball, nerd. I'm allowed to call you that. You know more about baseball than I do. And I've been watching it for decades. But, you break Bowman. My Friday opening today with Ian, I have some Bowman blasters. We're looking for Drew Jones, Andrew Jones' son. And we got some big league. Look at you. Look. So is that what you love? You enjoy breaking still?
Okay. Let's talk about being a hoarder. I have thousands upon thousands of wax being sent to me, which, by the way, thank you, Fanatics. Thank you, Panini, that I have been waiting to open. Because why? I want to do it with diligence.
The Catalina wine mixer. Send me some wax, Fanatics.
Well, I want to do its justice. I want it to be perfect. And I'm hoarding. And I got this Bowman here that Fanatics just sent me.
Yeah, that's what I have to open. Yep.
I'm not gonna lie to you though, dude. I don't know any of this of 2023. I don't know any of the
Drew Jones.
What team is he on?
It's Andrew Jones's
no way. Yeah. The Atlanta Brave, Andrew Jones?
Yep, the Atlanta Brave, Andrew Jones.
The Mets killer. I hated him growing up.
I mean, listen, the Mets killer, I think, was Chipper Jones.
Chipper, but yeah.
Didn't he name his his kid Shea after Shea Stadium because
No,
he was
yes, that was
so
Schiffer.
dominant there. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man, call
I
me
think
your
he's a
daddy. That's what
Diamondback.
he
Drew
said.
Jones is on the. He was drafted by the Diamondbacks.
Ooh, oh, but does that okay? So, in your opinion, as a hobby god, does
Mhm.
that sell? Like, I don't care how big of a
It doesn't.
prospect.
It won't matter because I mean Tatis. He's a Padre, but his Bowman was
Yeah, but the
on.
Padres are good though, dude.
No, but he was on the White Sox. He was drafted by the White Sox. Like
That is
boom, his
true.
thing is a White Sox card. Gleyber Torres, if he does well with the Yankees, he was a Chicago guy. So I
Also,
mean,
Wander Franco is on the Rays, but the Rays are goddamn good now.
I mean, what a great start. I think the third best start since like the Yankees in the 20s and the 30s.
Talk to me about this product right
Gold
here.
label's fun. It's gonna
Top
have
sent me Topps Gold 2022.
like a framed auto, and a gold label's really nice. They have like different series. Don't throw any of them out because you have to look. They have like different tiers of base cards and stuff. So really look at what you
Really?
have on those.
And that's the best part about opening Bowman and Topps cards. It's prospecting. You never know what's going to happen. You can't throw any of it out. Isn't that what happened, Cage, with Mike Trout? Like, no one knew who the hell he was. And look at him now.
I mean, when I was those years, 09, you were looking for Bryce Harper's, Bowman. You were looking for, he had like an under 18. Steven Strasburg was in those years. Like there were different people that folks were looking for. And Trout was, I mean, people knew who he was, but I've seen you can find them online, like people opening up boxes and pulling. Is this guy okay? Like not like, oh my god, this is a 6-figure card. It's an orange auto. I mean, so yeah.
And
You
by
never
the
know
way, a
Bowman.
little plug there, Cage, on my MLB Network carded episode this weekend. Mike Trout takes us through a tour of his personal collection and his love of his of the hobby. So please watch. You'll be
There you
interested.
go. Listen, I'll end it on that. We'll do the promos. You can find Alex Giaimo on Instagram. Any place else? I mean, Twitter, Facebook. I mean, any place that you want. I don't care. MLB Carded. It's on the MLB Network on Sunday the 7th. And that's at 11:30 Eastern.
And if you can't catch it at Cage at that time, you can always go on MLB.TV and it will be there. So
there we go. And the Golden Show, the King of Collectibles. She is the Queen of Collectibles. That'll be the subtitle for season 2.
I hope you guys. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the entire cast. Thank you to the hobby. It's been an honor, and I hope we did you guys, justice and due diligence. Like, the goal was to bring more eyes to the hobby to help the overall good. So I hope we made you proud.
So you know what's fun? I watched it with my wife and we finished, and I texted Ken that I thought he did a really good job, and he texted back.
Oh yeah.
My wife's like, "Oh my god, this is the guy." I'm like, "Yeah."
What did Ken say?
Well, he only texts me like very brief, like instead of thank you, it's like TY. Ken.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. You're not alone there.
And Rob Petrozzo made it from Rally, and I got more words from Rob. I'm
yes.
So, but I mean, listen, it's great to have you on, guys. Go check out Alex's stuff. She posted some stuff. You can get a real nice preview of the carded for MLB Network. It's going to be fun, and anything that we can get out there that brings more eyeballs, brings more people into the hobby, and educates, allows people to get over that kind of learning curve. It's good stuff. So thank you.
Thank you. I've learned a lot from you, and you are literally a huge voice in the hobby that is a good, decent man, and you're a good dude, and I love you. So
I appreciate that. All right. Thank you very much. We'll have you back soon when you get that narrating job for the next Netflix show or Hulu or whatever it's going to be. Talk to you soon.
Coming soon. I love you, babe. Bye.